This next video comes to us from Killa, which is somebody that we have watched before. And if you remember last time we watched this person, I did not have a very glowing review of them because I was trying to watch their video and it was kind of like jarring because they just were making a lot of like really edgy, dark jokes like the entire time. Hopefully that is not what they have continued to do because I am not a fan of that, not a huge fan. But I really wanted to watch this one in particular because there's a lot of like gathered info in this video that I think is extremely valuable. I believe this is the video that they talk about the data of like what's like survivors and who they like to face. And the data is actually pretty staggering in terms of like how much survivors don't like going against like a majority of the roster. And that speaks to like the design of the game. And I think that information is really valuable. So hopefully Homie keeps it to the information and not like whatever that other stuff was. And yeah, let's take a look.
Current year is the insane variety of options to choose from. With 33 and counting killers on the roster, you can have your pick of any gameplay type at any time.
I appreciate you too.
We got high speed, technical gameplay. We got methodical planning and strategy. Ranged killers, we got those too. Macro killers, stealth killers, jack of all trades killers, they're all here. Do you like cheating? There's a killer for that too.
Yeah.
Playing killer in Dead by Daylight is
That's a good way to describe
because it really allows you to play whatever type of game you like, whenever you like. Unfortunately, this is not true for Survivor. Although every Survivor has the same base kit controls, their gameplay is dictated by the killer that's chosen. If you're playing against Blight, I hope you can make quick decisions in chase. Hag, you need to be playing around her and disarming traps at the right times. Plague requires you to be...
This is one of the things that of like why survivors hate certain killers so much. Believe me, I play Xenomorph and I am like one of those killers where knowing the specific counterplay to my character is important to success. And if you choose not to learn good turret placement and how to use the turrets accurately and efficiently, you're going to lose most of your games against Xenomorph. There's a lot that goes into that. Set up a turret before you start working on a gen. If you really want to knock the Xenomorph out of their power, you need to set up at least 2 turrets right next to each other. Ideally, you should be setting up turrets spaced out. That way you can use them essentially as free body blocks. You know, a survivor will sometimes like dive in and take a hit for you so your chase is extended. That's essentially what turrets are. They're placeable little body blocks. So place them at loops in areas where if you were looping, could really use a body block right about now to extend the chase. Because if the Xenomorph chooses to ignore the turret, they're knocked out of their power. So they have to deal with it. So it's essentially giving yourself a little mobile body block. So yeah. But people don't learn that and they're like, well, Xenomorph's terrible to face. And it's like, you didn't even learn how to do that. You didn't even do the most basic counterplay. So yeah, of course. What happened with Knight, he had the ability to infinitely place his cards. So that's why he skill switched. So they can fix that.
Comfortable while injured. Sadako needs a lot of game knowledge to avoid instant death.
No, Sadako is... No. You don't need a amount of game. I disagree with this. Sadako is... I would argue that Sadako is not just like bad or throwing. Sadako doesn't actually have a whole lot of counterplay. Unless you're in like a 4-man and you can coordinate. You're just kind of like relying on having good teammates. Why I hate
One
that
of
character.
Nurse's main counters is knowing how to be stealthy. But, as you might already know, you don't get to choose what killer you play against. People who love Billy chases instantly fall asleep when they see that they'll have to manage Pinhead's box all game. People who like harassing a setup killer might get annoyed by how fast a Blight can down them. People who like a stealth playstyle aren't going to like Doctor being able to find them instantly every time. And so on down the list we go. The point is, a lot of survivors are queuing up for only a chance at getting a killer whose counterplay they enjoy. If they don't, they A, grit their teeth and deal with it, or B, disconnect, kill themselves on hook, go AFK, or just be mad in the endgame chat or post about it online. Now the real question is this: what chance is the average survivor taking when they queue for a match? Do they realize how much of the roster they do or don't like playing against? As a large believer that video games should be fun and not just infuriating, hot take I know, I set out to find the answer by setting up a survey which for each killer simply asked, do you enjoy playing against this killer's power? Yes or no? I also asked people not to consider killer stereotypes. For example, how Wraith mains seem to use DBD as an outlet for their sadistic tendencies.
That's true.
Just, do you enjoy playing against the killer's power? That's it. And after almost 1,000 responses, I found the answers pretty depressing. The raw data show that the average DBD player only likes playing against 59.7% of the killers in total, a bit less than 2/3 of the roster. But that's not the actual chance.
I feel like that's interesting. I feel like that's kind of high. I feel like maybe it's just because like I'm in the DBD community a lot, so like it feels like kind of like, you know, worse because I'm in here all the time. But like I feel like I never hear anybody enjoy any killer. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I never hear survivors enjoy any killer. Like it's just like they're just like, I feel like people just nonstop complain about this game. That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's my take on it. I'm like it's higher than I thought. I most survivors that I know that are like hardcore survivor mains only enjoy like 3 killers. At least in my spaces. I'm actually surprised at how high that is.
Chance they have to enjoy a game when they queue up. For that, I factored in every killer's pick rates using the DBD data website Nightlight, and I found that the average player had a 63% chance of actually enjoying playing against the killer power that they were about to queue into a match against. This means that the average DBD player would probably rather skip 1/3 of their matches before they even started. If we go out one standard deviation, which means we're looking at 68% of the player base, a majority, we see that that group enjoys anywhere from about half to 3/4 of their matches. Now you might think, that sounds pretty normal. Maybe you play a different multiplayer game and you find that after your session, you only really like 2 out of every 3 matches you had as well. But DBD is different for a few reasons. First of all, this survey was about—
Like, that's fair. I think I like fighting games, MOBAs, that sort of thing, like other game communities I've been in. That's about fair. I enjoy about 2 out of 3 out of games. Matter of fact, with Dota 2 specifically, that's legit. Like I don't, like literally that is probably the ratio of the games I enjoyed. I would have like 2 good games and there'd be one I'd be like, ugh, that was terrible. You know? Same thing with, I feel like Street Fighter was like the same too. Like I would have 2 matches where I was like really hype, hitting good combos, having a good time. The other guy would just, then the third match, the dude would just waste me and I feel like crap. That's
about whether or not they liked playing against the killer power, which means that players know they don't like the killer at the start of the match, but are then forced to play against it anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes or longer. You might have a bad match in, say, Fortnite or Counter-Strike, but did you know it was going to be bad within the first 20 seconds? Probably not. The second reason DBD is different is that there's only one killer to blame. Let's go back to those other games. You had a bad match, but it probably wasn't just one guy on the other team ruining your experience, especially by literally just loading in like a—
That's why I don't do solo queue, because like that is the case for me a lot. It's like I don't enjoy like the way, like I didn't enjoy Survivor for a long time because I just, you know, I played with either people who had terrible attitudes about the game, so the game felt oppressive and annoying and sad all the time, or I solo queued, which, you know, meant that I was losing for mistakes that I did not make, and it was like teammate problems. So like I just started playing, like, and I even just like with like, I didn't start grouping the entire time. Like it was even just having a duo, like games with Karma and stuff like that. Like I had a much better time just like going for silly flashlight saves, going for silly flashbangs, head-on plays, playing with at least one funny friend, you know, like made things so much better.
killer you dislike would. And lastly, and most importantly, DBD is different because there's 4 survivors in every match. Let's say each one of these players is an average player who only likes 59.7% of the roster. Because there's 4 of them, the chance that every player likes your killer pick is only 12.7%, which means that the chance that at least one person here doesn't like your killer is 87.3%. Now they could be someone who just grits their teeth and plays it out, or maybe they're more neutral on your pick. Or, as I'm sure you've encountered, they could be someone who will be sure to let you know that they're unhappy, whether by BMing you, berating you, leaving comments on your profile, or disconnecting immediately. And unfortunately, this problem only gets worse with more experience. A new DBD player has no idea what to expect. They don't even know what a pallet looks like when they're running away in a panic. The first things a new player will learn to dislike is being face camped or hard tunneled, which is why I think behavior has taken steps to reduce both of these. Until they've played quite a few matches, the only counterplay they know is either run away or hide. But let's fast forward a few hundred or 1,000 hours. Survivors now know exactly what they like and dislike. And since the game only has so much content, the list of what they dislike is probably growing larger by the day. It doesn't matter if the killer is weak or strong, it's now about whether the survivor feels engaged or not. Trapper? Boring. Go next. Trickster? Next. Zoning killer? Next. Oh, finally a blight. I love these. Oh wait, he's cracked. Go next.
Compound 33.
Map offering
Damn.
I don't like? Alt F4. Don't even need to load in. If we apply our chance of enjoying a game number to a survivor main, the average 1,000-hour player has wasted over 370 hours playing against killers they don't even like. That's more than 2 weeks of their life. So now we have an increasingly negative veteran player base to set a bad example for any new players joining. Now after all this, if your reaction to this is still, so what? Every game has parts you don't like. I would say you're getting conned. Consider the possibility that you've sunk too much time into a game that you would get a D- in if your enjoyment was graded. Because when I took my own survey, I found that I liked going against 85% of the roster. I can live with a B, no problem. But if that
I'm
comes down
interested
to
to see.
70, 60, 50% enjoyment, which is what 18% of the survey responses were underneath, oh, I'm definitely quitting.
Hold on. I actually want to see this. Hold on. All right. So fun, not fun. Trapper. I think it'd be fun. Wraith. Not really fun. Billy. Fun. Nurse. Not fun. Myers. Tombstone. Otherwise, they're fine. Ag. No. Doctor. No. No, doctors are fine. Doctors are usually like not too bad. Makes purple look better. True. Huntress. When they're not laggy. Fun. Bubba. I don't know. After the... Yeah, Bubba could be a good time. Freddy. I don't really hate anything about Freddy. Pig. Pigs are fine. Clown. No. Spirit. Not really. Legion. Not really. Plague. Definitely not. Ghostface. His mechanics are frustrating and don't really work. Demos are fine. Onis are mostly fun, but when they start 180 flicking and I know there's no counterplay, I get upset. Deathslinger, I used to play Deathslinger, so I'm kind of biased. The fact that I like counterplaying them. Pyramid Head, when they don't zone, are one of the most fun things to face in the game. Well, for the purposes of this, Killer Whale said no playstyle like choices in effect. So, like, oh, this player base always plays sweaty. Like, that's not. They said not to take that into account, so I'm not. Blight, don't really like facing them or their add-ons. Twins, no. Trickster, no. Nemesis, no. Pinhead, nope. Artist, nope. Nautico, definitely not. Most flowchart, samey gameplay in the entire game. Hate her so much. Dredge, I don't like any character that does this thing. Like, Artist and Knight will go here. Of like, I put my thing here and I put my little AI thing or something here, and then me at the other end, and I just win the chase for free. I hate that. I hate that archetype, and all three of them do this. All three of them do this. Him with the remnant, him with his guards, and her with her birds. I find that stuff so boring. Wesker, this one's hard. Like, a good Wesker's fun, but bad Weskers are boring because they just tunnel. Well, not playstyle, I guess. I'll put Wesker there. This one's kind of on the edge. If we have to, this is one if we had a neutral thing, I'd probably go neutral. Skull Merchant, definitely not fun. Singularity, no. Xenomorph, absolutely, but that's because I'm the number 4 Xenomorph. Chucky, probably the worst. I do not like fighting Chucky at all. So, let's see. So out of 34 killers, I like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14. I like facing only 41% of the roster. So I am below half. 41% of the roster I can typically have a good time with. 41%. How many do I hate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is, I hate 59% of the roster if we round up. I do not like facing 59% of the characters game, which is almost exactly what I'm almost exactly the average. What didn't they say, like 59.6 or something like that? Or 58.6 or something like that was the average? Yeah, yeah, I'm almost on the average. But I only enjoy like 40% of the roster. I think it's funny because most of it comes down to, like, you notice it really doesn't have anything to do with strength. It mostly just comes down to interactivity. Like Trickster, it's not about if you lose, it's about when you lose and what map did you get. Blight, I guess that one's a strength one because it's all like add-ons. Ghostface, it's like his mechanics of breaking him in and out are just inconsistent and broken. It's another good one like that. Clown, it's like the gas is just kind of like nauseating and like motion sicky. I don't know, it's just a lot of this is just like interactivity. This chick, oh, the bane of interactivity. Every match you play against a Sadako will play it almost exactly the same. It is so boring. Like, it's all about the interactivity. These three, like I talked about, where you just set thing at one end and one thing at the other, and I just win the chase for free. There's just no interactivity there. Like it's really the fun factor. You know, it's literally what I said on the left. It's like fun, not fun. Like, it's not really like, oh, it's OP, right? It's more like there's the lack of interactivity there. Hey, Bran, what, Stinky? What's up? That's why I hate Nemesis. A lot of people like facing Nemesis because they kind of play a certain kind of way. But like, I don't like dropping a pallet and him getting the pallet or hitting me, and there's like he just gets something out of the chase no matter how badly he played. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. 6 minutes just to stare at me? Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, I sure do. Legion is like probably the paramount example. This is the pinnacle of this problem. Of just like, Legion's not particularly strong or annoying to face. It's just that like the mend mechanic is very grating to do mend simulator, and it just makes matches really like really long and really boring. Even though the character is not OP or not fun to face at all, it's just like the mending nonstop over and over and over is very monotonous. Even though the character is fine. Why is Myers form for you? Well, he was my first main, and obviously you just followed today. Halloween's my favorite horror movie. So they have the VHS of the original Tapestry. It was a gift from Bran too, though. But yeah, I love Halloween. It's my favorite horror. A little bit of bias. But if it's not Tombstone, what's there to hate about a Myers? Like outside of Tombstone, what's there to hate about a Myers game? I can get Tombstone piece can be boring. But like outside of that, like what's wrong with the character? What would be unfun about a face of Myers? He's essentially just an M1 killer with subtle stealth and chase mechanics. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't really think about this when I'm playing though. I think okay, so I think the data kind of speaks for itself. But I think like this is not to say that I can't have good games. Like if I get a bad blight, I can have a good time. Or a blight that's not running the busted add-ons, I can have a good time. Like another thing with Nemesis, like if I get a Nemesis that's just kind of like bless his heart, like I can have a good time. I've had fun trying to like juke a spirit and try to like kind of counterplay spirit in like an interesting way, because she does play chases so atypically that it kind of switches up the way you have to play against her. It's just like a little stuff like that. There are times where like I get a like, you know, because like the Ghostface reveal mechanic, it's not like the dead center of the screen for a reason. It's like kind of slightly upper left of like where a reticle would be in the center. And on those days that it kind of functions that way consistently, Ghostfaces can be fine. But then there'll be other days you're just staring at him dead on and nothing happens. You know? So it's like, it's not to say that like you can't have fun matches with anybody down here. It's just that I'm less likely to, you know? But you have to make, if you force me to put them in one category or the other, like, then I have to. But like I can have good matches with a lot of these. You're gonna say this, I like facing Chucky? It's okay to be wrong. Maybe you're incorrect. Should fun be determined on the skill of the other player? I don't think so. If not, in the not fun character, who put the order least to most fun? Oh, we'd have to go all deep into this. I put these two at the bottom because like I really hate them. Nemesis, I don't really enjoy. I don't like Singularity. I really do not like playing against. Fixture's probably lower. Plagues, really don't enjoy facing plagues. Yeah, I really don't enjoy it. We'll put that there. Nurse I actually don't mind too much. She's BS and strongest character in the game, but like at least the matches are quick. At least the matches are quick, you know. I'm not suffering for that long. I think this is pretty fair, honestly. Yeah, the way I have it right now, probably about how I feel in terms of like this back end being the least fun versus like what I'm moderately okay with. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's not to say that I can't have. I guess you can say on the flip side, like Huntress laggy, suddenly terrible game, which like in most are. Pyramid, all he does is zone. He goes from being one of the most fun characters in the game to one of the worst. Wesker's also I don't hear this talked about. When Wesker's a laggy, they hit weird stuff that they should have no right hitting, and it's so obnoxious. So obnoxious. Yeah, so there's a way, there's a little bit of, you know, like Han was saying earlier, like if a pig is just, you know, tunneling you down for a head pop, miserable. Otherwise, fine, you know? So there's a little bit to this where there's a lot of these that I can have fun with, just not often. A lot of these that are often fun, but cannot be at the same time. So, yeah.
And truthfully, I wish these people would too. So here's my test to you, because I'm sure a lot of you are saying, I'm not this average survey survivor you speak of. Go to Nightlight.
I actually am. We found out that my stat is literally the average. Like my stat was almost matching the average, which is funny.
.gg, sort by pick rate, pull up your handy dandy calculator, and simply add the numbers of the killers you actually enjoy playing against.
That's what we just did.
Not just tolerate. Video games are supposed to be fun, not tolerated. Your final number is what % chance you have of enjoying your next Survivor match. And if that number is less than, say, 70%, consider whether you're playing DBD because you actually like it or just because you're addicted. If you want to see some charts of which killers were most liked and disliked, you can find them in the description.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. All these match up, right? Like Legion Mending Simulator, Spirit's really strong. Why is Freddy disliked? What? How do you have a bad time against Freddy? He doesn't even do anything anymore. That is stunning to me. 95% of people don't like facing Freddy? What do you not like about facing Freddy? It's the filter? The filter's beautiful. I love the Dream World. The Dream World makes so many maps look cool as hell. I love that. I love the Dream World. 82 for my character, that makes sense. He is very oppressive in chase. Most people like Singularity, really? I find him such a Resident Sleeper. 99.9 for Skull Merchant and Knight makes sense. Very much sense. People really do enjoy facing Wesker, huh? There's some standout ones. 99 on Trickster, that makes sense. 46, people really do like Anodi. Demo! Demo's fairly liked. Billy obviously is like the king. Everybody enjoys Billy. I'm surprised how many people hate Bubba. I think before the anti-camp mechanic, I would understand this number. But like after the anti-camp, what is there to hate about facing a Bubba? What is there to hate about facing a Bubba? Clown is just fix the accessibility issue and that goes away. Can somebody help me on this one? What is bad about Trapper? Why do people hate Trapper? What? Because that's 84 is fairly high for Trapper. What does Trapper do that's like irritating and not fun? I don't really get that irritated in Trapper matches. Don't look on the ground or behind them. Skill issue. That's a skill issue. Yeah, I don't find Evan to be that annoying, like at all. Locking down some god loop and survivors get mad. I mean, I guess so, Cameron. Good to see you, by the way. Too simple to beat? I don't know. Like, I just don't know what about. I never get into an Evan match and I'm like, I'm really irritated or really annoyed. Why did that not play? Did not play. We good? Are we fine?
Skill issue.
Oh, that was just really late. Okay. It's the add-on where the traps automatically go up, but that's honestly, he's so weak that is that really that bad? He is so weak that like you're telling me that like let's look at somebody else. Blight, who is only 4% below him with compound 33, Alkring and stuff like that. That his Eerie is a problem. Like, like okay, all right. I feel like it's interesting that you are right, Noodle. I feel like and Killer way to bring this up. I wonder how much of this would be mitigated if people actually put more effort into learning how to counterplay some of these killers. like Xeno, like Trapper, and stuff like that. I'm surprised Doctor is as high as it is. I guess there's a lot of like audio sensory stuff that goes into that. That's not too fun. But honestly, if you hate Doctor, just pre-drop. You pre-drop against the Doctor. What does he do? He takes the loop. He has to take the loop 1 or 2 more times to get you, and you call it a day. I don't understand how Doctor could be very annoying. He is probably surprisingly low. No, I mean, if we're going by, hey, I don't feel like learning the counterplay to the character, I'm going to whine and bitch instead. Yeah. Yeah. I think the people that are, the reason it is low is because some people realize that, hey, if you have good turret placement and you bait the M2 a lot, you like, it's not as bad. Not as bad as like Nurse or Spirit or Chucky, for example. Not nearly as bad. Yeah, that's interesting to me. Very interesting to me.
And yes, I know this test isn't perfect in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Luckily, there's a comment section where you can tell me exactly how wrong I am. And if all this sounds too harsh, if it sounds like I'm trying to tell you what to do with your life, this is all I'm trying to say. You shouldn't play games you don't enjoy. They're supposed to be fun. That's why they call them games.
I mean, they're not wrong. Like I told that little anecdote at the beginning of this video, one of the main reasons I didn't enjoy Survivor and didn't really ever want to play it is because I only played with people who were like that. People that they only enjoyed like 10% or less of the killers in the game. So every time we'd get into a match, it was just like, oh, I hate this all the time. There's always so much that can take, no matter how much of like a strong-willed individual that you are, before it really starts getting under your skin and affecting your mindset very, very negatively. And those people keep grinding the game. Luckily, a lot of those people I used to play with quit, thankfully, for their own mental health. But a lot of them still play. I'm like, why? Why? You hate this game. Why do you play it? I don't understand. Well, yeah, it's like you're allowed to play the game casually, but if you want to win all the time, which is what correlates to a lot of people's fun, you got to put in the effort to succeed, right? That was a thing in fighting games, like big time thing when I played fighting games. There was a move. I always play Evil Ryu in every game that is out for Street Fighter because Evil Ryu is my favorite character. Sometimes he has this move called the axe kick, also known as the stomp. In some games it's really good, in some games it's really bad. And so I like the move a lot, so I like doing it. In some games I can get away with it because the move's really good in that version of the game. Other times it's not. And if it's my choice, if there's a game like Street Fighter 5, for example, where the stomp was not as good, you could literally interrupt the heavy one like mid attack. That if I choose to keep using that attack just because I find it fun and I lose a lot for it, that I don't get to whine and complain about the game because I'm making a willing choice to do something inefficient and bad because it gives me the dopamine. But games where it's not competitive as in sweaty, but like it's a versus game, it's me versus you. If I choose to do things that are inefficient for the sake of my fun, the other side who is trying to get the W will take advantage of that if they know how to. So it doesn't matter that I like that axe kick move a lot in Street Fighter. If the other player knows how to punish it and make me lose because I use like a very not good move just because I like the move a lot, that's on me. I can't complain about the game and say Street Fighter is not a fun game because I want to use the bad move over and over. Just because in Street Fighter 4 it was really, really good. You know, like that's not how that works. That's literally not how that works. That's on me and my responsibility to only use the attack when I can get away with it, or just kind of not use the attack at all, and just kind of keep it as like something I pull out of my sleeve as like something strange to mix things up. That is on me. That's my responsibility. It's not on the game's responsibility or DBD's responsibility. Okay, anyways, yeah, like you can't go in and look at like Xenomorph and be like, okay, well, Xenomorph needs to be nerfed in the dirt because I don't want to learn the counterplay. I don't want to learn the counterplay. Like that's a choice. That is your choice. You would probably have more fun against this killer if you did learn the counterplay. But if you choose not to, that's not on behavior to solve. That's not on behavior's end to solve. If there's a character that's like consistently not fun to face, looking like Trickster, right? It's not a matter of if you'll go down, it's when, and just the RNG of the map. Then like, yeah, then that's something that probably needs to be looked at. There is no counterplay to Trickster besides just, you know, hug walls that are high. And even then, it's kind of like it's a whittle you down situation. It's just buy enough time for the other 3 survivors to do the gens until you go down, right? Okay, somebody's going to say in the comments, like, Trickster doesn't have literally 0 counterplay. I know, it's an exaggeration for the point of humor and, like, entertaining in a video, okay? I can't believe I have to say that, but, like, yeah. So, like, that's inherently frustrating, right? And that does fall on behavior. But if there is something that is skillful that you can learn that does give you an advantage against the killer, and you choose not to learn it, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. That's a you problem. So don't blame the game for that. Blame the game for that. You rank the killers based on how much counterplay they have? Not now. We already essentially did a soft tier list just a second ago. And I don't want to do like a double tier list back to back. There's a streamer who complains about every single killer and it's a 30-second chase every time. Gee, I wonder if there's some sort of skill issue. That's why I'm making that joke. Like it's mostly a joke, but it's also true to a massive extent too. Is like, I know it gets annoying, and I bring this up in a lot of like React videos, commentary videos, but like a lot of DBD frustration does really boil down to a skill issue, and I do hate to say that. I'm not saying that in a way that I'm better than anybody. I'm definitely not that great. But like, if you don't put in the effort to get better, you can't bitch about the game and how hard it is and how there's no counterplay to certain things. If you're not learning the counterplay, if you're not attempting to get better, and your MMR keeps going up, and you're going to keep facing people that do actually care about getting better, not even like super sweaty, like quad slowdown, like, mom, I need this 4K for the fridge kind of gamers. I'm talking just like people who just like casually try, people who just happen to like winning. You're going to hit a wall. And in fighting games, we call that a plateau. In fighting games, we call that a plateau. A lot of people, a lot of players, because it's very esport heavy gaming sphere. A lot of players will plateau. They just won't be able to know how to counterplay a certain character. They won't be able to maximize the potential of the character they are currently playing. Like they'll hit a plateau, and it's up to them. It's up to you to work through your plateau. How do I get off this plateau? Because you have hit a hard ceiling where you are no longer improving. DBD players hit that plateau and just kind of blame the game and stop trying. Like, DBD players hit that plateau and just blame the game and stop trying. And I think it's one of the things, like, there's no, like we were talking about the TCM thing with like a completely different topic, like there's a lack of ambition, there's a lack of motivation to improve because the community is so whiny. You think killers have valid complaints if they main really weak killers? No, you choose to main weak killers. I said I main Evil Ryu in every Street Fighter game that I play. There was a time in Street Fighter 5 where his name's Kage in that game. Evil Ryu was literally the weakest character in the game. Or bottom 5, bottom 3 at the least. It was like, I was choosing to play that character. That was when I was traveling for tournaments too. I was playing a bottom 5, bottom 3 character going out to tournaments. If I really wanted to win those tournaments, I shouldn't be playing a bottom 5 or bottom 3 character. Not all characters are made equal. Ideally, every character should be A or B tier in a perfect world, right? That's really hard to do. So realistically, there's going to be really weak characters. You are not entitled to win just because you pick Myers. You're not entitled to win because you pick Trapper. Sucks that they're so weak. I hope they improve them and find a way to make them more viable. But like, no, it's not valid to be like, I lose most of my games and I play Trapper. Yeah, Trapper's dog shit. If you hate losing, stop playing Trapper. If you hate losing, don't play Myers. Unless you want to run Tombstone every game. Tombstone P specifically. I feel like we get this a lot with pig players. I feel like pig players are like the brand for this kind of player. Pig players are the f***ing worst about this shit. I hate pig players for this reason. Sorry, Noodle. you're a sweet one. Pig players play a bottom 5 character and they get really rabid. We call them rabid pigs. where they tunnel, they force head pops, and they play in the nastiest ways possible because they realize that they're playing a bottom 5 character. But newsflash, buddy, nobody forced you to play a bottom 5 character. Nobody's forcing you to play a bottom 5 character. If you hate losing, stop playing Pig. Like I said, ideally, I hope they look at them. I hope they look at Pig. I hope they improve them. I hope they get at least to like high C, low B, which is that sweet spot area. I hope they do that. But realistically, if winning means that much to you, you don't play certain characters. That is a thing in every video game that has like a versus component to it. Almost everyone. Because I can't say that with 100% certainty. There are characters in fighting games that are just absolutely terrible. And you play them as literally because they are joke characters. Or characters that are really, really cool, but they just happen to suck. I just mentioned my boy Evil Ryu was very bad in Street Fighter V for a long time. It happens. This is how games work. Not everybody is made to be like a top 3 Nurse Spirit Blight zone. And I would argue that them being as good as they are bottlenecks design a lot. But don't play a god-awful character and you know they're god-awful. You know they're terrible and then about not winning all the time. It's so weird. It's just like a DBD. This is going to get a whole nother tangent, a whole nother rant. I feel like DBD players are so just naive and dumb because they live in their own bubble and they don't look in other gaming spheres to see what's normal. Because for some reason, the DBD community is very self-contained. You don't get a lot of overlap with other like gaming spheres. There are people who play DBD who don't even like horror movies and they don't play a lot of other games. So they just get caught in this little bubble where everything in DBD is super serious and very streamlined in terms of thought processes because they don't look and see what other games that have components that are similar to it look like. So they just feel and think these really, really outlandish and entitled things because they don't live outside the bubble. You guys saw that today in the beginning stream. Realize you were at the beginning stream? There was a random that came into chat and said, hey, I almost used the exact same Xenomorph build you use, but I use 2 more slowdown than you do. And I was like, oh, well, that's fine. But if you're still learning the game, I always recommend that people only run like 2 or 3 slowdown. That way they can actually like, you know, feel their mistakes and learn the game. And I was just saying that as like general advice, not even to that person, but just kind of like, you know, when we do the match reviews and stuff, I just kind of like general advice to anybody who may be listening in the chat at the time. Homie took it so personally. Homie took it like I like punched his mom in his like right in front of his face. He had to defend her honor. He was asking to 1v1 me. He was saying he didn't suck. He was like, I like my friends say I'm good at the game. Brother, I only have 600 hours. Like, I was like, and I kept telling him over. I'm like, I wasn't targeted at you. Was not targeted at you. I was just saying it was just good general advice. And homie kept yelling. Like he was all caps yelling at me. Saying I was an angry person, all this. I'm just having to ban him. Like the DBD community is so absolutely bizarre and strange. So weird. So weird. It's because they live in this little bubble where like they're with a bunch of other weirdos who aren't challenged on their thoughts. Because everybody just wants to whine and be as pessimistic as all hell about the game. They want to whine and be pessimistic as all hell about the game. They don't want to be challenged on their thoughts. They don't want to think about what's happening. They just want to complain, whine, and get their way. So they just it's an echo chamber. And if somebody challenges their echo chamber, it gets really, you know, hostile and volatile real quick. And I'll do that every time. My life's good. Yeah, my life's good. My mental health's fine. I've cut negative people out of my life. I'm loving the game more than I ever have, both sides. Even doing a little bit of variety on the side. And it's not even because I hate the game. Got great friends, great relationship. I got a lot of stuff going on that's amazing. I will take all these arguments. I will fight that for you. I will challenge your thoughts. Because I think it's good for the community for people to think about what's happening in the game and not just complain and whine nonstop all the time. All the time. It's just stupid. And it's not good for the health of the community. It's not good for the health of the game. And I will fight that fight. I will fight that fight. That's why I love the match reviews. People being humble enough to send me their matches so I can help you be more consistent in the game. Not super sweat, not go full comp, but just be a little bit more consistent. Have healthier habits for your success. I love you guys for that. I love that you guys are humble enough to go, maybe I'm not the best in the game. Maybe I should consult somebody who has more hours than me. See what they think. That's very humble, and it's very good, and it's very healthy. I wish the community was more like you guys who have the humbleness to do that. Most DBD community ain't humble. A bunch of whiny, entitled brats. Who don't want to hear things that don't just gas them up or validate their struggles. So yeah, I'll fight that fight. I'll argue with you. I'll argue with you until I'm blue in the face. I'll do it every day. I'll look irritated. I'll look mad, but when those lights go off and these lights go off, streams goes down, I don't think about it. I don't think about it. But you do. That's the thing. That's the thing. You do. These people that are way too in the bubble, people that freak out too much, they're thinking about it off when everything shuts down. They're thinking about it. So, yep. Sunk costs, inflated sense of worth, nothing else like it. Yep. Yep. I don't hate DBD. I hate DBD players. That has been the biggest struggle with me in DBD content lately. That's like my character arc right now. As I finally, like, not finally, because I've always liked the game. But it used to only be like 70, 80%. Now I love this game like 95%. Like, I really do love playing this game. I love going for funny tail shots. I love going for flashbang saves. I love just doing silly things. I'm just a silly guy doing silly things. That's all. This is what I do. So, like, I have found the fun in this game. It's the community that are just take everything so personally, internalize everything, always arguing about everything. Like, it's like Killer Whale said. It's like, if you hate this game so much, why are you still playing it? If you despise so a majority of the roster, why do you keep facing said roster? It does not make sense. And if you try to challenge them on that, they get angry or upset or defensive. And it's like, I think somebody said this earlier when that person was here. It's like, if that person tried to go do that in like a Walmart or like a McDonald's or something, people would look at you weird. You started getting stares. Like, people start looking at you like you're strange, like you're going three heads. Everybody be like, what is wrong with that person? But because you're surrounded by other people who are also as emotionally volatile and weird as you are, it doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel bad, even though it is. If you actually go out in the real world, people don't act this way. So. Just toss some matches, not care about getting kills. Yeah, it's like, just do what's fun in the video game. If something tickles your brain, gives you dopamine, just do it. It doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It really doesn't. And if you can't find something that tickles your brain, it's not good. Take a long break, or wait till a fun character comes out, or find something else to do. Not all games are meant to be loved either. Not all games are meant to be loved. Not even just like by like objectively, but like by each person. Oh yeah, I talk about roguelikes. You guys are like, Bran, did you hear about this roguelike? I'm like, I'm not really into roguelikes. They just don't make me happy. They don't spit out the dopamine for me. Roguelikes are cool and awesome. I think they're neat. For whatever reason, I'm not a person that's into roguelikes. They don't do it for me. That's fine, right? I wouldn't be like, roguelikes needs to change for me. That's like the DBD take. That's the DBD community take. It's like, roguelikes should change so I can like them. You know, it's like, no, that's not how that works. You said you like card games. Can I never get into them? No, we need to change card games specifically so you can like them, Stinky. That's what we need to do. Okay. Yeah. We're in the DBD community. We expect the world to move for us. We don't take any accountability or responsibility over ourselves. We just yell at other people. Crimes you like? I haven't been to card games in a while. I used to like Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh homie. Yu-Gi-Oh was probably one I got the most into. Played Magic casually with my dad and my friends. I like Gwent and Witcher 3. Super fun. Yeah. My friend in college tried to get me into the Dragon Ball Z TCG. It was fun, but like I didn't really stick with it. Baldur's Gate needs a real-time combat mode vibes, or like Dark Souls needs an easy mode vibes. Yeah. Yep, exactly that vibe. exactly that vibe. Yeah, there's a really good video. I actually really like this. I hope Killer Way makes more stuff like this. I definitely think I kind of tuned out when it was just like dark humor and like dark edgy humor, and that was it. But like this was like really introspective, really good data, really cool, and made a really good point with it. They were great. I like this a lot. I hope more of their content goes this direction, because this was really, really cool and really thought-provoking in a really, really good way, and it creates really, really wonderful and good conversations that I think are ultimately healthy for the future of the game. And I think videos like this are really important, especially now with like, you know, staring at Ott's faces down here, because like a lot of the big content creators, a lot of the Fog Whisperers, weirdly enough, collectively are like really disenfranchised with the game right now and not feeling the best. So like I don't know, like I think videos like this are really, really important right now. So good job. Really like that.